But let's take a step back and look at the bigger picture, because this isn't just about two celebrities and a messy breakup. It's about power dynamics, emotional manipulation, and how even the most glamorous relationships can hide dark truths. The reality is, when someone uses intimacy as a weapon, it's not just a betrayal. It's a violation of trust at the deepest level. And unfortunately, Angela Simmons isn't the first woman to deal with something like this. In Hollywood, and especially in hip-hop, these types of toxic patterns often get normalized, glamorized even. The narrative of the ride-or-die girlfriend who's supposed to put up with cheating, emotional manipulation, even public humiliation is a storyline we've seen far too often. But Angela, with her poise and silence, may be flipping that narrative on its head. She's not dragging Gotti through the mud publicly. She's not airing out screenshots on her Instagram stories. She's moving smart, and that's powerful in itself. Now, what could be motivating Gotti, assuming these allegations are true? That's the part that really stirs up conversation. Some psychologists say that when people like Gotti feel they've lost control in a relationship, especially one they obsessed over for years, they resort to toxic behavior to regain power. In his mind, he didn't just lose a girlfriend. He lost a woman he publicly pursued for nearly a decade. His ego, his pride, and his image are all wrapped up in that relationship, and losing it might feel like losing part of his identity. And let's not ignore the fact that this could also be a warning sign, a larger pattern. If a man is willing to threaten someone he once loved, what else is he capable of? Has this happened before behind the scenes? Are there other women who are silenced, paid off, or simply too afraid to speak? That's the conversation many are starting to have on Twitter and in comment sections, asking if this is just the tip of the iceberg. On the business side, this scandal could have real consequences for Gotti. With endorsements, music partnerships, and business ventures at stake, public image matters more than ever. Brands are paying attention. Fans are watching closely. And if these allegations gain more traction or get confirmed in court, he could be facing real fallout, not just in courtrooms, but on streaming platforms, in partnerships, and in reputation. Meanwhile, Angela's brand continues to thrive. She's running businesses, raising her son, and staying low-key. And honestly, that's the energy people are respecting. More than ever, fans want to see women rise above the mess, not get pulled into it. Angela is showing that you can walk away from drama with your dignity intact, and that might be the most powerful move of all. Now let's talk about the legal side for a moment. If Angela and her legal team pursue this, and if there's real evidence that Gotti made threats involving private, explicit material, he could face charges under digital harassment or revenge porn statutes. Depending on the state, that could mean fines, restraining orders, or even jail time. Angela doesn't have to wait for the photos to leak. The threat alone could be grounds for a legal case. In fact, it could lead to a restraining order or a lawsuit for emotional damages, especially if the messages have caused mental distress or harmed her reputation. And think about how this affects their families. Angela is a mother. Gotti is a father. Their loved ones are watching this unfold just like we are. Every action, every rumor, every accusation has ripple effects. What happens to the trust of a child when they see their parent involved in a scandal like this? What about the damage to mutual friendships, business partners, and public supporters? These aren't just headlines. They're people's lives. So, what should we as fans, viewers, and consumers do with this information? First, let's stop romanticizing obsessive love. It's not cute when someone won't take no for an answer. It's not romantic when someone clings to you with guilt and manipulation. And it's definitely not healthy when someone threatens to hurt you emotionally if they can't have you physically. Second, let's support women who speak up, even when they're silent. Angela may not be saying everything out loud, but her moves say a lot. She's setting boundaries, staying composed, and protecting her energy. That deserves applause. And if she does choose to speak out, she deserves to be believed, respected, and protected. Third, let this be a warning to everyone, celebrity or not, about the importance of digital boundaries. In an era where photos, videos, and voice notes can be turned into weapons, we have to be mindful about who we trust with our most vulnerable moments. And we have to demand that laws keep up with technology to protect victims from exploitation. To close this out, one thing is for sure. Angela Simmons did not deserve this. No woman deserves to have her privacy threatened by the same person who once called her his queen. Love should never turn into leverage. Respect should never turn into revenge. We'll keep following this story as it develops. If any statements are released, legal documents filed, or receipts leaked, you already know we'll be breaking it all down right here. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel with notifications turned on so you don't miss a single update. To really understand how we got here, it's worth going back to the origin of this public love story. Yo Gotti first mentioned Angela Simmons in his 2015 hit, Down in the DM, where he rapped, "And I just followed Angela Simmons / boy. I've got a crush on Angela Simmons." That single lyric turned into one of the most talked about moments in hip-hop that year. Gotti's name became synonymous with this romantic chase. For years after, fans teased him in interviews and online, asking if he ever made his move, and eventually he did. Angela played it cool for a long time. She was polite in interviews, giving him credit for being bold, but she never showed public interest back. Then, seemingly out of nowhere, she posted a photo with Gotti in 2022 confirming they were officially a couple. The internet went wild. People were calling it the long game success story, applauding Gotti for waiting years and finally winning over his dream girl. And for a while, it really did look like a happy ending. But here's the reality. Sometimes, when someone's dream becomes a reality, they don't know how to handle it. What we saw on Instagram, the champagne dates, luxury vacations, matching outfits, may have masked much deeper problems. Some sources close to Angela say the relationship became controlling. That Gotti had a jealous streak. That when Angela started pulling back, focusing on her businesses and her child, he took it personally. Like he was losing a prize, not a partner. And that's a huge red flag. Women, especially high-profile women, aren't trophies to be won and displayed. They're human beings with boundaries, needs, and independence. And if a man can't handle a woman saying no, whether it's to a date, a text, or a reconciliation, then he has no business being in a relationship. Let's also not ignore the emotional toll this must be taking on Angela. Imagine trusting someone enough to be completely vulnerable with them, emotionally, physically, digitally, only for that trust to be used as a weapon against you. That level of betrayal doesn't just break your heart, it shakes your foundation. And if she's going through all of this while also parenting, running businesses, and maintaining her public image, then Angela deserves more than applause. She deserves support, privacy, and justice. Another factor that's been floating around is the potential impact on their respective careers. Gotti has positioned himself not only as a rapper, but as a businessman. He's the head of CMG, Collective Music Group, a label that's recently grown in popularity with acts like Moneybagg Yo, Glorilla, and ESTG. With more eyes on his business than ever, this kind of scandal could have ripple effects. Artists might distance themselves. Sponsors might reconsider. Public opinion can shift fast, especially when there's evidence involved. On Angela's side, she's always been strategic. Her brand is tied to empowerment, fitness, fashion, and family. She's built her image on resilience and independence. This situation, as unfortunate as it is, may only reinforce that narrative, especially if she continues to handle it with grace. But don't mistake grace for weakness. Behind the calm demeanor may be a legal storm brewing, and if Gotti underestimated her, he may soon find out just how powerful silence can be. Now, let's take a moment to talk about something rarely mentioned: emotional safety. When you're in a relationship, especially a high-profile one, there's a level of vulnerability that's required. You trust the other person with your secrets, your insecurities, your body. And when that trust is broken in such a public and threatening way, it's not just a private heartbreak. It becomes a public humiliation. It's trauma. And the fact that Angela has stayed silent through it all speaks volumes about her strength and her strategy.